We're still in the throes of a nationwide united front as it relates to police brutality. The senseless loss of life, the knee on a man's neck for close to 9 minutes. What George Floyd has done is he has created probably the largest civic response to something that everyone relates to. I just am loving the fact that we see all people from all backgrounds, all socioeconomic levels, people who are of different faiths, joining together in public protest to have our society change. In New Jersey, we're having that conversation. Our Attorney General, Grual, is establishing and focusing on training for law enforcement professionals. We also are concerned with updating use of force policies in police departments across the country and in New Jersey as well. Across the country, the death of George Floyd has brought up an issue. I call it the original sin of the United States. We know that we became the most powerful, the most economically stable, the most comfortable way of life to be had in this world. But I often say the price that we paid for that was the sin of slavery. For far too long, there has been exploitation of African American people in the United States. We live in a global society. So I think it's time for us to erase once and for all this issue of discrimination, this issue of police brutality, and this issue of inequality. I think that the Reverend Al Sharpton said it best at the memorial service for Mr. Floyd in Minneapolis. He said, "If you will take your knee off our necks, we can do everything and we can be anything." And I think that is what the Floyd movement is going to come to represent. The young people that we see out in the streets protesting from one end of the country to the other, they weren't alive during the civil rights period, but they are creating a moment in history of their own. And I have all the confidence in the world in knowing that it will change the world. This is a tremendous opportunity for all of us to come together, to come to the table, to embrace one another and to love one another. There is one race, and that race is the human race. I want to thank George Floyd for raising that up into the consciousness of not just the United States, but to countries around the world. George, we owe a huge debt to you for what you have done for all of us that remain behind. I wish you Godspeed, and let us continue to pray for the Floyd family and all the other families who have lost a black son or a black father or a black brother as a result of police brutality.